Ford, the biggest name in British motoring. I mean, they've got a string of bestsellers to their name, haven't they? But the thing is, they've been missing from the EV market. The Mach-E. Always forget about the Mach-E. You forget about that one as well, don't you? But look, they are back and they are fighting with this brand spanking new Ford Explorer. Shall we have a look around? Come on then.
We've been a bit baffled by the lack of Fords in the electric car market. I mean, yes, there was the Mach-E, but that's still a rare sight on British roads, isn't it? While rivals launched an entire range of battery-powered cars, Ford delayed and flim-flammed. Now, finally, we are getting a go in the new Explorer. And if you think the Explorer name is familiar, that's because it is. It's been used before on a big American SUV, which was briefly sold in the UK a couple of decades ago. It wasn't a huge success here, but it was a huge seller in the US. Now, this new model shares nothing with that old car, except the name. Incidentally, there are rumours that the Capri name will come back as well on an SUV platform, so feel free to start a fight in the comments section about that one.
But instead, this Explorer is aiming at some big selling family SUVs. I mean, it's 4.4 metres long, which is the same length as one of the most popular cars in Europe, the Nissan Qashqai. It's a coincidence, isn't it? I mean, look, we first did a walk around video in March of 2023 of this car, and they have been throwing this in our faces, advertising it like crazy. When we got to Slovenia, we got out, walked out of the airport, and there was like 56 posters of this car. They are really going for it. But in terms of looks, we'll start at the front, shall we? Because that's where I am. So we've got a big chunky front end, which is giving big American SUV vibes. And talking of big and chunky, we've got the 20-inch wheels. You can get 19s if you want, but we've got the big chunky 20-inch. This is the premium version, by the way. As you come down the side, these, I mean, I would like to call this modern day go faster stripes. Should we go for that? Yeah, sure, because it kind of creates the illusion of movement when the car's not really moving. Now, at the back, I'm going to throw this out there. It might be controversial, but I'm going to say it. It's giving Range Rover Evoque, kind of. Can you see it? Like a short, stocky Evoque. That's what it feels like. Although I really like the black lettering on the back. I think that looks quite classy. We have a rear wiper, very nice. But I'll be honest, the exciting thing isn't what's going on the outside. It's on the inside. Come with me. Okay. There are a lot of things in here that are nods to VW. So as soon as you sit in the car turns on, like a VW. The gear selectors are now up here, like a VW. Your lights and everything down here, like a VW. Apart from that, everything else is all just very Ford.
Oh, by the way, just in case you were wondering why we're mentioning VW so much, that's because Ford have done a deal with VW to supply all of the hardware for the Explorer, including the motors, batteries, underpinnings, etc. And then they've just kind of added their own Ford little spin on top, you know?
Why have the fans just turned on? I didn't even press anything! Turn that off. This all stays down here for your climate control. To be fair, the sliders for like the temperature, etc., are quite large, and you can kind of rest your arm on here to press things. So I'm trying not to complain about that too much, because I know I am a fan of knobs and buttons. There's no knobs and buttons in here. It is all down here on the touch screen. You also have this for your volume control. Oh, that's VW as well, isn't it? Slidey, touchy slidey. I'm not going to moan about it. It's fine. It's also gloss black, which means there's fingerprints everywhere. But this is where the party's at, right? This is the big thing that they've been selling here, is this giant screen. So this is called the Sync Move system. Yeah, that's what they've called it. And the reason they've called it the Sync Move is because it does actually move. Do you want to have a look inside my private locker? All right then. So under here, you can move that like that, and then it can stay like that if you want it to. You can put things inside there like your purse or even your passport and stuff if you want to, and then as soon as you close that and then you lock the car, that stays locked. So then if someone was to break into your car, they can't get in there, and all of your personal expensive stuff can all be hidden away, which I think is quite nice. But I'll be honest, they were saying some people would like to have the screen like that. I'm not a fan of the screen like that. I'm more of a down person. That's too vertical for my liking. So while it's down like that, it's all right. Everything in here is also customizable. So you can change all the widgets up here to the things that you use the most. You've got wireless CarPlay, that's all, takes up the whole screen as well. That looks really cool. And then all of your settings in here, so you can change all your drive modes, which I'll show you when I'm driving, because you have to change your drive modes on this screen, which does get a little bit annoying. But I'll show you that when I'm driving. You also have the Mega Console. In here is so much space. So you've got like a little shelf thing here. This is 17 litres of space, by the way. And they said you can take your cup holders out. I don't know where you'd put them. Chuck them in the back, maybe. And then you can move that. That's also an ice scraper. And then you can get a 15-inch laptop in here. Although they did say in the presentation, this is where ladies will keep their handbags. So, one for the ladies. Although, to be fair, I do have to say, when I am in the car on my own and I've got my bag with me, I normally just tend to put it on the passenger seat. And then sometimes if you do have to suddenly brake, it can go flying across the cabin. So I get it. It's a nice place to put your handbags, ladies. Should we put all that back? How do I put that back? Let's put that back in there. Oh, look at the fingerprints on that, look. Ooh. That goes in there. Wireless charging in here. Perfectly fine. You've also got a sound bar, which is actually very similar to what you get in the Volvo XC30. And we have been playing some music in here while we've been driving around, and it sounds pretty good. We've got a B&O sound system. It all sounds very lovely. The steering wheel is a squircle, like a square circle. It's a squircle. And at first, I wasn't too sure about it, but now I've kind of grown to appreciate the shape of it. I think it's actually all right. It's quite nice to hold. One thing I don't like is these haptic / touch button things that's going on the steering wheel. So if you want to turn on your heated steering, you press the button, but the feedback is really snappy. So when you want to do your volume control and you want to change your records or you want to do whatever, the feedback's just not very nice. I'd rather just have normal buttons on here.
Oh, and all Explorers have a heat pump, which extracts warmth from the surrounding air to warm the interior, which is way more efficient. That is nice, as normally it's a costly option in some rivals. Also, Ford uses its own infotainment systems, as it didn't want to buy those bits from VW, probably for good reason. It'll be like copying the class clown's homework.
Right, rear seat space is all right, actually. I'm pleasantly surprised by this. It feels quite airy. That's largely thanks to the panny roof. But this is set up for my driving position. I am 5'6½". The half is very important. But decent legroom. That's all right, isn't it? You've got a couple of charge ports down here. And then you've got, what you got there? A couple of cup holders there. Oh, and you've got one of those things where you can put long things. Like if you regularly carry curtain poles, you can put them in there. Yeah, perfectly fine. Boot space. We've got 450 litres of space back here, which is perfectly fine. It's not as big as a Skoda Enyaq. An ID4 is bigger. A Nissan Ariya is a smidge bigger. It's about the same as a Toyota BZ4X. You also have space underneath the boot floor to put your charging cables, which is always handy. And it tows. Yeah, it can tow 1,000 to 1,200 kilograms. So there we go. I mean, obviously that's going to affect your range, but give it a go.
The entry-level Explorer will use a 170 horsepower motor driving the rear wheels with a 55 kilowatt-hour battery. Now, Ford reckons it will be good for an official range of up to 218 miles, and that will charge at up to 130 kilowatts at a suitable rapid DC point. But we can't get that one yet. Instead, the cheapest that you can buy right now is a 286 horsepower rear-wheel drive variant with a 79 kilowatt-hour battery, which has an official range of 374 miles. It's good, isn't it? And that will charge at 185 kilowatts.
Now, the version that we have here is the all-wheel drive version with 340 horsepower. 340, which is absolutely bonkers. in a car of this size. It's insane. It will do 0 to 62 in 5.5 seconds. Do you really need it to go that fast? I don't think you do. But this version will do 328 miles, which is fairly decent. And I'll be honest, I need to just give you a heads up on this. Before you leave, before you move on, you're going to want to go on to here, driver assistance systems. You're going to want to switch off all of your bing bongs. So turn off your drowsy monitor, your speed warning, etc., because that's just going to get very, very irritating. In terms of how it drives, I think it drives better than an ID4, to be honest. It's very smooth. I mean, bearing in mind, we are on the bigger wheels. We're on 20-inch wheels here. You do occasionally feel a bump. I do know the reason why they brought us to Slovenia to drive it for the first time, because the roads here in Slovenia are really smooth and really nice. So it needs to be properly tested on a great British B road, and then we'll know. But you do occasionally feel a little ba-bum when you go over a little bump in the road, but that is rare here in Slovenia. If you are a driving person, oh my God, come to this country and drive. It's beautiful, and the roads are so nice. Anyway, we digress. To drive, it's really lovely, and there's hardly any body roll, which is handy because, you know, all the batteries are on the floor, etc., so there's not going to be much body roll in this thing. It's just the sheer power of this. I don't think it needs to be as fast as it is. I need to get this to a straight road so I can show this to you properly. Right, here we go. Okay, so there's no one behind me, there's no one around me, I'm on a straight road, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it in sport mode. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm really excited. Here we go. Going in 3, 2, 1. Oh, stop it! Dora! Dora! It does not need to be this powerful. That is absolutely bonkers. For a family SUV. No, it doesn't need it at all. It was fun though, wasn't it? That was good. Did it make me smile? Yes. Oh, Dora. It's also very comfortable. So these seats are called Sensico. So it's just like a nice material, very comfy underneath the bum. And every version, every single version, gets massaging seats. There's a button down here, press that, and then there it is. That's lovely. Yeah, I'm getting a nice little back massage there. That's lovely. Drive modes. Right, so I told you earlier that everything is in the screen, which makes it a real faff when you are driving and you want to change your drive modes. But everything is all in here, so you press that button there and then go on to driver profile, and then you've got eco mode to make the most out of your range. You've got sport mode, which will give you the full 340 horsepower, which I just can't get my head around. And then you've got normal mode, which is how I've been using it mostly. You've also got individual, so you can customize it to how you like it. And then traction if you want to take it off road. What was that beep? Oh, downhill detected. Select gear B to use recuperation. What a perfect time to tell you about regen braking. Amazing. So we'll switch that up to B. Lovely. So now we've got some feedback. That worked out so perfectly. I love it when that happens on camera. That was so brilliant. So regen braking won't bring you down to a complete stop. It will bring you down to a gentle creep is what it will. But you'll get a nice bit of feedback when you lift your foot off the accelerator, and then it will just put a little bit more energy back into the battery. That's how it works. All in all, I think you'll be more than happy with this. It does drive really nice. You do have a bit of feel in the steering. You feel connected to the car, which is always a good thing. If the steering's too light, then you just feel disconnected, don't you? But this does have a bit of feel to it. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's refined, it's comfortable. Yeah, it's very pleasant. It is. Fair play, fair play.
Right, in terms of pricing, you know that entry-level model that we said we can't get our hands on yet. That is going to start at just under £40,000. But then as you work your way up the trims, all the way up to the all-wheel drive version that we have here, that's 54 grand. Yeah.
So come on then, what do you think? Let us know in the comments section below. It's interesting, isn't it? I've been trying to figure out what the USP is of this car, compared to everything else that already exists. You've already got your Skoda Enyaqs, your ID4s, etc. So what makes this any different? And I think I've figured it out. So Ford have created this for people who drive Fords. So if you are a Ford person and you are Ford for life and you end up choosing this, you won't be disappointed. You'll be more than happy with this. But I feel like that's the target that Ford have gone for. We're making a Ford for Ford fans. And I think they've done a good job. Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe to the Electrifying YouTube channel. And we'll see you next time.